Mama. A word that we all know, a word some of us hear 1,000 times a day, and some are anxiously waiting for.
It's a title accompanied by immense joy, deep loss, and hearty laughter.
I'm Aubrey.
And I'm Marin.
We love mamas, and we love your strength and your sacrifice. We honor your easy days and the days where you hide in a closet.
Because we have them too.
We know that moms need moms, and that's where we come in.
And the best part is, you can show up in your messy buns and sweatpants and we'll never know.
In fact, we're probably in ours too.
We hear you and we want to connect with you. This is your community.
So welcome to our sisterhood.
Welcome to our circle.
Welcome to the Mamahood.
Hi mamas, and welcome to episode 2 of the Mamahood podcast. I'm Marin Joubert here with Aubrey Grossen, and today we have such a cool episode for you. We are welcoming Kaley Munday to the show today. Yes, the Kaley Munday. She's everything she's cracked up to be. She is a wife and a mother of 4. She has such a fun platform online where she speaks positively about motherhood, and she has thousands upon thousands of people who follow her and her journey and love watching her story unfold. Kaley is so naturally funny and endearing and so wise. She's going to share so much with us today that we hope will fill your soul just like it did for us. And we love Kaley. We're so glad she joined us. And now we would like to welcome her to the show. So Kaley, just kind of tell us about your family, like you and your husband, how you met, where he's from, and then your kids.
Thanks for having me, you guys. Yes, so I met my cute British husband through my brother, actually, and it was this different story. It wasn't the typical, we saw each other and we were in love, but he was my best friend. That's been our foundation. The reason I bring that up is I love that. I truly have married my best friend. And anyway, so we have 4 beautiful children. So we have, our oldest is 5 and it's Cole and he's our only boy. And then we have 3 girls. So Quinn, Reese, and Indy, and they're 3 and under. So honestly, if you know me and kind of like my background and my family, my mom and dad, incredible parents. And they raised 4 of us, me, my twin sister, and brothers. But my dad actually, even a little bit more than my mom, documented everything. Like, he had that big camera on his shoulder, and we have like all of our Christmases. We have all of our birthdays. Like, we have big camera that they have to. We have incredible moments, and I love our home videos. But then he also took pictures. It's the 90s. You know, you look back, and I love that time. But it's like we took pictures of everything. So my love of pictures really came from my parents, and even my grandma, my mom's mom. She actually, a year ago, I went out to Canada like I always do to visit her, and we went through albums, and just the stories were just like, that's what I live for. Like, tell me everything that happened to you in your life. And so I think that's where, right when I had my first, I wanted to do that for them. I wanted them to have those childhood pictures like I did. And then I wanted to document me as a mom and my husband and just our life together. And it's just kind of evolved how it has. Like, it's just literally documenting my life. There's not a lot of, I don't have these planned out things to it. It's just kind of our weeks and our days in life. And so that's just kind of how it came about. So
I have a question. I'm wondering if the transition for you to 3 kids, because everyone says the transition from 2 to 3 is the hardest, or if your Irish twin transition was more challenging.
Okay, so I'm the worst to ask this, and I've been asked this so much because I felt like it was such a blur. I didn't actually get to really even think about it at the time. It was like, I had my 3rd baby and I was like, okay, I love. Like, my older 2 were really good ages and they play together. And I will say out there, anyone out there listening, you guys, I did not plan to have 4 kids in 5 years in any way. I was actually, because of my sentimental side, I wanted to really space it out. And I didn't want to be like 34 wishing that I was pregnant. So I was like, I even said to my husband, I think I want my last at about 34. I want to spread 4 out. And now I've had 4 in 5 years, right? And now I would not change it because my kids play together. They're going to be best friends together. Like, my little family, we're in the stage and we're just in it now. And so some of our friends that have waited about 5 years in between, and they still love it, but they're kind of like, okay, wait, yeah, I kind of got now used to not doing it. And now I'm back in it. And we're like, oh, we haven't had a break from it. And so we're going to kind of be done all at once.
Yeah. That's our life right now.
Yes. And so I'm like, I always tell people, I'm like, actually have them close together because I love it. But going back to your question, I didn't really get to kind of figure that out because I was really loving 3. And right when I like literally was sitting down loving it, I found out I was pregnant with 4. Oh, it was such a crazy experience.
Was it a surprise for you guys too?
Such a surprise. And the only way I thought to do it was just to get it out of my mind. It wasn't even like that's a possibility. It was just like, I'm going to go just take this test because I know it's going to say no. I've just had sick feelings lately, but it's sick feelings over other things.
Yeah.
And then, and I hadn't even told my husband I even had these thoughts.
Yeah.
It was just like, I need to go in the bathroom and just like confirm that that's so crazy and silly. And then I'm even going to tell him like, isn't that so silly that you're not even going to know this, but I went in the bathroom and I took a pregnancy test. Oh, well, it says positive and I come out.
Oh
just
my
like
gosh.
shaking, uncontrollable. It wasn't pretty. And he doesn't even know what's happening. And he's like looking for what I'm shaking for. And he finally sees the test in the air like this. High in the air, almost to the ceiling. He's like, oh.
I love you
Anyway,
guys. It's so funny.
it was wild. But your guys' weren't planned, right?
Mine was, I guess mine wasn't totally like planned, but I miscarried easy. So I just was like, let's just try and see.
Yeah, no, mine wasn't.
She's like, no.
But it wasn't pretty either when I took the test and I came out and I just like sat there and sobbed my eyes out. My husband's asleep on the couch, like he doesn't know I took a test at all, and I'm just like, I'm pregnant. So
he's like, okay. Like, I mean, what like good husband, that was my husband. He's like, comes over, says the things, hugs me, like, we can do this. I'm like, can we?
I know.
It's like, what else do you say?
I know. How old is Indy now?
Oh my gosh. Oh, she's 7 months.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like,
Isn't
what?
that crazy? That's so
Yeah.
crazy.
And I'm just, it really is all the cliche things your parents say. Like, time goes by so fast. And it really
Do you
does.
have weird, like, my little 5-year-old feels old because we're doing kindergarten stuff. And I'm like, I'm feeling like, and I just turned 30 and I'm like, I'm feeling like depressed or like, I don't know what it is. It's like a weird, like, don't get older. Like, don't get older. I don't know. Do you have that?
I get that to a fault. Like, it's so crazy, like, how each woman is different, right? We're all so different. But, like, I'm the opposite. Like, I don't want my kids growing up where, like, all my girlfriends, and I love it because we're super honest with each other, and I kind of love everyone's insight. They're like, give me a baby at 3. And I'm like, oh, like the newborn, I wouldn't skip it for the world. Like, it's like, I want to sit for, like, 3 months. And my friends are like, that is so boring. I'm like, oh, boring. Like, I want to sit in a rocking chair and just stare at their features. And by the end of the day, I feel like it's still not enough. And it really, like, I'm actually sincere. And I only tell this story because this is exactly how, like, my motherhood's been. Is I came home with my first Cole. He's 3 days old. I've just had my first baby, right? And my husband finds me in the tub with him. Like, and at the time, they didn't tell you couldn't tub. But anyway, I'm in the tub with him, and he comes in, and I'm just, like, hysterical, like, can't breathe. And he's like, honey, like, what's the matter? And I'm just like, he's 3 days old. And that's just been, like, my journey, is, like, trying to figure out enjoying the moment, loving the stage, and not wishing for yesterday, where a lot of people are wishing for the next day. And I'm like, oh, freak, I can't get back tomorrow. It was so good. And I'm like that. Like, I'm like, Cole's 5. He's going to kindergarten. Stop it.
I know. And like, I sit there and I try to write down, like, I think I have my chat books. I mean, like, there's like one of my stacks of chat books because I'm just like writing every little thing. And Don's like, are you really going to read all of that? I'm like, yes, I am going to read about every second of my child's life because I just don't want it to pass too quick.
Know, it's crazy.
And I don't know. It's a dilemma.
It is. Honestly, too, I was telling my husband, I'm like, the hard thing about it, too, is social media sometimes doesn't help that for me because I feel like when I became a new mom, and even now with my 4th, I'm always constantly getting, like, eat it up, soak it up, like, you're going to regret it. And I'm like, regret it? Okay. Yeah, this is a big thing that I've struggled with, is finding the balance of, like, living in the moment and just, like, letting my life happen, but then also, like, trying to freeze it because everyone's telling me you're going to want to freeze it. And, like, it's going by so fast. And every time, and it honestly helps my perspective because as I get a little bit older, I want to, like, see that first time mom and I want to go to her and be like, you're doing great. just enjoy how you're going to enjoy it, because I feel like I've gotten so many people coming to me being like, oh, sweetie, it's going to go by so fast and like you're going to regret. And I'm like, regret it? Like I'm trying to eat it up as much as I can.
Right, exactly.
So you kind of feel like, am I doing the best of my ability to eat it up? Like, am I taking enough pictures? Am I taking enough videos? Like, there'll be nights, like, legit, I'll be crying to my husband being like, we haven't taken enough videos of their life. And he's like, I mean, honestly, we have. Yeah. But I'm like, but people are saying, like, if you don't document this, and then I saw someone do the slideshow of this, and I'm like, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
You're feeling this
videos
weird
that
mom guilt, right?
Yeah,
it's so weird, because it's like, but at the same time, then you're going to get mom guilted for not also just being in the moment.
Right.
You know?
It is like this total, like, it's hard to figure
this
out.
balance.
Yeah.
Because I also look at my parents and how they raised us, and they didn't have any of this.
Right.
You know, you didn't get a view into other people's lives and how they're doing it. You're just in your own, and you're going, we're doing the best we can. And
yeah. And don't you sometimes wish we could raise babies without all the technology? Like my mom, she just comes and loves on my babies, and she's like, oh, this was the best time of my life when I had babies. And I'm like, she didn't have a phone or anything to take constant videos and pictures of us, and she loved it just as much. And I'm like, sometimes I wish I just had that release and I could almost live in the moment a little bit more if I wasn't so stressed.
Or like,
about
what did they do when they were nursing? Like, I'm over here, you know what I mean? I don't know.
where's all the advice they got? Yeah.
I know, yeah. It's crazy.
And I mean, not just on social media, but we let other women into our lives too much to comment on how we're mothering. And yet just being confident in how we're doing that, because we're all starting at square one, and we think everyone got it together. And it's funny because I see my mom and she is perfect in my eyes, but I'm like, okay, she did it exactly how I did. She knew nothing. Yeah. And she just took the good of everything, right?
That's so true.
So it's funny. Yeah, we let the comments kind of consume us sometimes. Instead of just like being so present and confident in our own ability.
Okay, well, you just made me feel totally understood, because I feel like I'm constantly stressed about like living in the moment, and then it like stresses me out more, and I just end up just crying. So I'm glad to know someone else has this like crazy
I think a lot of people do. It's like, what's that balance of, and honestly, what I've just learned in time is just going with my gut. Like there's weeks where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a fun week and I want to document it. And then there's other weeks I'm like, my kids need me more to just be here, be present, let them be goofy, and like put that away. Because when you look back at it, it's like, I'm not going to literally actually probably go, even though I think I am, I'm not going to go through my photo album of every single week.
It's so
right? I'm not. Yeah. Like we think we are, like, especially with the newborn.
I know.
Hannah,
yeah.
I'm like there'll be times where, like with Reese and Indy and everyone, it was like I felt like I needed to document every day for the first 6 weeks, or I was like failing, completely failing, because you go, you see Pinterest and you see the 1 month and what they've done with it. I'm like, I mean, I'm trying to get like my nursing pads together, not like a cute little, like I'm figuring out like my diapers for the day, not like the outfit. So
it's so true.
It is that balance. So I've had to kind of over time just be like, there's good times and there's times where, and my husband really has helped me balance that. Like he doesn't know anything about social media, and it's cute in a way. I love it.
Yeah.
Cause he'll say, did they Twitter that? And I'm like, honey, I'm not even on, is it Twitter?
Did they Twitter that?
Did they tweet that? And I'm like, I don't know, cause I'm not on that, but he gets everything, like all the words wrong, and I love it. But he's also like, hon, like our kids need us to be present too. And like, take a picture, but like 700 later isn't fun for anyone. I'm like, you're right, it's not. And I was doing that for a while, especially in the beginning of motherhood. It was like, I wanted to document Cole and every second of his steps instead of just like the 2 seconds. There's like 50 pictures there, and that's good.
I think too, sometimes we miss it by taking pictures so often, because then we're looking at it through a screen, I feel like we're missing it. There's just this barrier in between it sometimes. Yeah. So for me, I have to be like, okay, today I'm just going to go a full morning without my phone or pictures or anything, and just embrace completely what they are and what those moments are, because I get too caught up in like, I got to document this, and it gets hard.
My biggest thing lately too, I completely agree. It's like, again, everything is finding that balance, right? My biggest thing is what my kids are seeing, their view. And honestly, I think it's so helpful to sometimes step back and watch someone else and be like, oh my gosh, like that kid, all he has seen. I mean, we know the science and the statistics and everything about how technology is ruining children's brains, right? But there's also science saying how damaging it is to see a parent on the phone, right? And if you're constantly, my children seeing a phone just attached to my hand, and that's my priority, instead of, hey mom, look at this art project I just did, come validate how amazing that is.
Right. Well, they can't see what you're doing. Like, even if you're reading something really good or whatever it is, they can't see that. They just see the phone.
You making that a priority.
Yeah.
And that's been my biggest turnaround in the last few years, is being like, hey, mama sometimes needs to be doing work, but I really try to do that when my kids are either at school or at nighttime, as my time that I don't feel guilty, right? Because I do enjoy it. I do love connecting. I love pictures. I love documenting our life. But I also never want my kids growing up thinking, well, this is such a priority and it's important to my mom, so it needs to be important to me. Because I never want my kids questioning their worth and like, okay, what we do with social media and cameras and pictures. And so I think that's been my biggest thing lately, is I always think like, is my kids just like watching me constantly on my phone? Because if I see other moms, I like watch the interaction of how disconnected sometimes they can look with their children.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want that to be me.
Right. I know. We don't realize how often we're looking down and not looking up and like looking at our kids. And I remember learning that and just being so shocked and so determined to like, my memories that I have of my mom are of her standing in the kitchen, talking with me, reading with me. And I want my kids to see that when they think about growing up. I want them to remember me looking at them in their eyes versus looking down at my phone. And you have to find the balance, because we live in a modern world with technology. But I always try just at the end of the day to say, like, was more of their day spent looking at me in my eyes versus me looking down at my phone, And if so, then I feel like it was a good day.
Yeah.
Good perspective. I love that. I like that insight.
But I feel like you do soak in that. Like, I remember hating the newborn stage at first because my first baby was really colicky. But watching you and your stories, like soaking in your babies on your bed, like months after they were born, I was like, I need to be more like I need to be more like that. So I feel like you do, even though you have your phone, you are still soaking them in. You're just capturing a quick glimpse of,
a quick glimpse. Right. And I always try to do that thoughtfully, like, oh my gosh, this is so sweet. And we've been sitting here for 2 hours and I do want to remember. And honestly, I will say I don't regret the pictures and the videos. And I've tried to find those balance so I'm not looking being like, oh my gosh, that was a really kind of rough, like, why did I force that? It's like, no, I just love that moment and that was a good moment. Yeah. And I it's funny because a lot of people would always comment like, how do you have 4 kids now and you're just sitting there on a bed soaking in these moments? Honestly, I always say that those first 6 weeks are just like prime. They're so special. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I would say my support system has known that after 4 kids later, like what keeps me happy and sane is knowing that I can just have those moments to soak up. Because I'm like, I think it is great to get out and do all these things, but I'm like, I can do that in like 6 weeks. I just got to like study this person that's been in my belly for 9 months. Like, I want to know who they are and their toes and their wiggles and their, features.
Oh, so. I love that about you. It totally changed my perspective of the newborn stage. And I'm like, oh, no, I just love it because it does go by so fast.
I'm looking at her newborn.
It's my favorite stage. And I love all the stages. Every time they come, I'm like, no, I really love this stage. But then when I get I'm holding a newborn baby right now and someone puts him in my arms, I'm like, oh, this is heaven, And so I totally agree. You need those 6 weeks to
I just wish it wasn't such a blur because you're so tired,
Yes. It is a blur of like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted, but I'm like
so happy.
And I'm healing.
Yeah.
Like, guys, like women are incredible. I know. Like, we're like growing humans. Then they come and then we're nursing them and our milk gets full and we have stitches and we're still trying to make dinner 2 days later. Right?
I know.
It's like,
how do we even do it?
No. And like,
I make my husband tell me that every day. How do you do it? Because it's true.
I know.
It's hard. It's crazy.
He's like, you're doing so good. You're incredible. I'm like, thank you. I know.
No, I love that. I really do. And I think, especially when kind of going back to what I love that perspective you said when, you're thinking, is my day spent more looking up or looking down? I think one thing I always try to remind people when like people ask me about different things with social media, I think it is such an amazing tool. It can be.
Right.
But I think it also can be very poisonous if we let it be. I always say we're the drivers in this car, right? Like what we see on our phones is what we're choosing to go look at and what we're choosing to let into our lives. No one else has pressed follow except us. And so I know a hard thing that I always have to remind people, even when they go onto my page or other people's pages, and I've met all these incredible women that are way bigger than me and they've done a million things and they're just normal moms too. But I always say, like, remember, we're all posting and talking about the highlights, the good moments of marriage and of children. And that, like, anytime you sit down and talk to any woman, you can name any of them, she has the exact same thoughts and feelings and hard days, right?
I love that, though, because you actually posted something the other day. We were reading this before you came over that we loved. You said that, you know, whether you have 1 kid or 7 kids, or you have different parenting tactics, homeschooling, bottle fed, working mom, everyone has one thing in common, and that's just to protect and love our kids the best we can. I love that. I thought that was so good, and it's so true, and it just kind of, I don't know, brings it all together. I think that's cool.
Yeah. And so especially on the hard days as a mom, the worst thing we can do is turn to our phones and go, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm struggling because look at Aubrey over there who's killing it. It's like, yeah, she is killing it. And I'm proud and happy for her. And that's half the reason I, years ago, put my page public, is I do want people to know motherhood is beautiful. And it's so amazing. And that I think there is something noble and good about staying home and raising kids. A lot of the world's telling us you need to do so many other things to feel fulfilled. And I'm like, my 4 children fill me every day. And like, to be able to raise them, like, I don't even know anything better you could do. I'm like, the responsibility is heavy some days and hard, but it's also like, holy moly. Because I look to my mom and I'm like, she's everything to me. So if I can be that to a little person one day, I'm going to keep going, right?
Yeah, what more can I want? Yeah. I love that so much, especially in today's time, because we have a lot of voices advocating and telling us the other things we do is great. We know that the other things we do are great, but I feel like we need more voices like yours out there advocating for like how beautiful motherhood is and how precious it is, and how, motherhood is a worthy thing to do. I love that.
Well,
that's why I love your page.
Look at you guys holding your sweet babies.
But we do, we need to advocate for all these moms who are at home and I think sometimes we feel a little bit like, what else do I need to be doing? I need to be doing something else, but this is enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely feel, and honestly, I think as your kids get older in different stages, they bring out different things in you. And I truly mean it, and I hate getting emotional, but my kids are the best part of me. And they teach me, especially as they're growing, things that I know I've needed to learn. Forgiveness, love, happiness, joy, right? Seeing through their eyes, everything new. But they also teach me I'm enough. And that's my biggest thing I always take away as a mom, is that like, I had a rough day or I had a good day and it was enough for them. And I think about my mom, and I talked about this in a post a while back, but everything she was had nothing to do with her looks, had nothing to do with the amazing activities she gave me. It was the love, the presence, right? Being there. And those things I keep thinking about when I look at my children's eyes, like, what are they really needing from me today? So, and they're silly things sometimes, but I love it. I truly do love seeing the world through their eyes. It's amazing.
Today's episode is sponsored by The Baby Cubby, an online and retail boutique that specializes in creating magical parenting experiences. Remember when you were a child and you had that special place where you put all of your favorite things? That was your cubby. As adults, our whole life resembles a cubby. We all have limited time, money, and health. As a child, we would never put something we didn't love in our cubby, so why should that change as an adult? The Baby Cubby helps you to fill your cubby with the things that you love and that matter most, while also giving you the highest quality shopping experience, with features such as Cubby Moms, who are trained and certified to answer all of your questions, certified car seat techs, a kids' play area in the store, rewards, price match guarantees, and free shipping on orders over $25. We personally choose the Baby Cubby whenever we need anything from a last-minute baby shower gift to big purchases such as strollers, car seats, and cribs. You can visit the Baby Cubby in person at their Lehi, Utah location, or if you aren't nearby, you can visit their online shop at www.babycubby.com. And don't forget, free shipping on orders of just $25. I don't think it gets better than that. Okay, back to the show. So, we've asked a lot of questions on social media trying to get a good feel for what like our community of moms really need to hear. And one of the main things that was brought up was finding joy in motherhood. And you find it so well, like what you've expressed. And I just want to know, like, for that mom who's just so desperately trying to find more joy in her motherhood, what would you say? Like, what would be your advice to try and find more joy?
My biggest advice, and I've said this a lot, so I hope I'm not just a broken record, is the one thing that has helped me about 2 years ago is remembering your season. And as a mom, I think when we're in the trenches of it and it's really hard, right? Days are hard. And there's days I mean, recently I have felt like it is hard to get up even because I know what I'm going to face, right? With different stages and ages. But knowing that that's the season I'm in and that it does not last long. I think when you have, probably Aubrey, how you feel, a little bit older of a child, you can see like, this doesn't last forever.
No, it's weird.
The exhaustion doesn't last forever. Yeah. The loneliness of that moment, just like anything in life, but especially in motherhood. I mean, I could sit there and think, oh, my little Reese, who is stubborn. She's 18 so months cute. And she's busy. It could overtake how I feel. But I'm like, I know even give it 3 months, she'll be a different person.
Totally. It's just the stage. Yeah.
So my mom used to always say that. And she was probably the most beautiful example of that, just really embracing that season, and that some seasons are exhausting and hard as hell, for sure. Like, that's all you can really say. But that season will absolutely pass, and there's a new chapter in season that's like super beautiful, because there's times where, yeah, I was so exhausted, and then 2 weeks would pass and I would feel like, whoa, I'm on like a new turn with my kids and their ages, and just like them being able to do things for themselves. And I think there's just times and seasons as a mom for sure, but personally, like I feel like as women, we're always trying to still find ourselves, right? Before kids. But that's really never happening because we have children now and we're new people. And I think we're better, to be honest. But I think remembering that there's a season for yourself too, and to give yourself a lot more grace. And that's where I think social media can be a really good or bad thing. And that remembering, and honestly, if you see sometimes, and I mean, there's people that notice more than me, that I can be on it sometimes for weeks. And then there's times I'm a little more quiet, because I don't think you need to publicize when that needs to be a break for you. You just let that naturally, like, this just isn't my week. Right. Giving yourself that grace and that season to be like, right now I'm killing it, or right now I'm not, or right now my marriage is my priority, and right now my kids are my priority, and finding the balance, whatever way that is, whether it's a full switch on or a full switch off. Yeah. But especially anytime I've taken the time to talk to moms that are struggling, social media was always number one. And it's funny because I'm an advocate for how amazing it is. Yeah. There's so much good, right? But I think when we're not using it in the right way, or we're sitting there going, oh my gosh, I'm in the trenches and she's not. And it's like, well, her kids are 8 and above and yours are 3 and under. So, we're not even present enough to see. So just being in control of when you get on, you're the driver and you get to see and you get to choose who you're viewing. So,
and just being in control. Yeah. Like you said, of what you're viewing. Like I remember talking to another really amazing social media mom a while ago, Ashley Gadd, and she was like, my biggest advice is just unabashedly, whatever the word is, unapologetically.
Yeah, I got it.
Unfollow for a little bit if you have to. Like, if seeing someone, even if you absolutely love them and idolize them, but every time you see them, you feel worse about yourself in a moment, and you need to unfollow for a couple weeks and then refollow. Like, do what you need to do for your mental health. and don't feel bad about it. And then go back and add more later when you're feeling a little bit better, when you feel like you're out of that really rough time or whatever, because social media is, like you said, you're driving it, you can control it. And like a lot of people think you just have to consume everything, but you really don't.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
What would you say you do for yourself that helps you kind of just rejuvenate or kind of self-care?
Guys, I feel like who doesn't do this? Okay, no, a lot of people don't, but I'm like, this is actually what keeps me sane. 100% every night, I have to have my tub. It's like, that tub is what, like, I'm like, the
brings
tub,
you back to life.
It brings me back to life. And I was saying this to some friends the other day. My motto that my husband knows, he's really supportive and he knows, and he gets, and we've talked about, and we started this kind of about 2 years ago when we realized we didn't have any kind of system or schedule, is that I can be a good mom till 7 o'clock. And then afterwards, the lights are out, like for me. And so my husband will even know it's like 7 o'clock. He's like, he'll either start the tub literally for me, or he'll say, go up to the tub. If he was here right now, he'd be like, there's days I go, honey, go up to the tub.
You need the tub.
Yeah, because I know by 7 o'clock is when I need that break. Because for so long, when I first had my first two, and you're just figuring out things, right? I felt like morning till night, till the next morning, I just honestly...
It's like one long day.
One long day.
Yeah.
And it was funny. We were sitting talking about this at my daughter's dance the other day. And mom said to me, I love that you just admitted you need a break. I said, absolutely. I don't know any good mom who doesn't, because getting that break, whether that's just even nighttime, and that's for me nighttime. And right now, again, it's the season of my life. There's nothing else besides nighttime, my tub and my shows. And that's all I can do. Not even reading, not even like really sometimes catching up on emails or whatever. Yeah. It's those two things. Because then I feel like the morning comes and I feel like I got that break. I'm excited to be a mom again, and I'm excited to see my kids again. But for so long, we had no schedule, and kids were up in the middle of the night. They were in our bed. Like, it was just like wild.
Exhausting.
And and then I felt, why am I so like aggravated all the time? Why am I like short with my kids, my husband? Like, I'm angry. And it was because I didn't have any schedule, any routine, any breaks. So I don't remember what you were asking.
Well, just the tub. I think it's great.
The tub is my self-care to a T.
I love
you
that.
You give me that tub every night.
You're so
with
cute.
My drink, and I'm going to try to be a good mom the next day.
That is so
What's your drink? What's your drink?
Oh, well, okay, but my drink is Diet Coke. But I'm weird. I love those cold water flasks. Like the things that keep your water.
Yeah.
So I have one of those every night. So my husband or like even my little boy will get them for me. So that's by my tubs.
Oh, I love that.
With Diet Coke in it?
No, just water. I love water at night. I like water by my bed. I'm weird.
I like to sit in the tub every night and just like eat Pebble Ice. That's my thing. That's what I do. And sometimes it's even with my like 3-year-old in the tub with me, like playing with toys on my legs, but I'm sitting there eating my Pebble Ice and I'm like, I'm fine.
This is it. I know.
No, it is. It's weird. I feel like for every person, there's something that like, I think there's so many women and kids that have anxiety in our world, right? You just hear that word so much. And you didn't hear that in our parents' you know, stages because they didn't have all the things that made them anxious that we do.
True.
So for me, even in the day, I'll sometimes actually take a tub, whether it's with like my daughter or I can tell if I'm really kind of feeling anxious or just like upset by something. Honestly, tubs, guys, like I know some people are grossed out by tubs. Heck, embrace it. Love it. They're so good. I feel always better when I get out of the tub.
Don't you? And you sleep better. It's the best.
You sleep better. Your like nerves feel calmer. You smell better.
I'm right there with you.
Guys, I'm bad too because I break the rule of like not getting in a tub after postpartum. They've like just...
Is that a rule?
I'm sorry. Her face. The last 2 babies I had, my Irish twins, all of a sudden randomly at the hospital, they're telling me, and I understand the logistics behind it, but I broke it. They said they said you had to wait 6 weeks for a tub.
What? I've never been told that.
I swear on my life, because I remember that vividly.
Yeah, they told me that too. Yeah,
I was like, that's not happening.
Marin's over here having a bath every time.
I'm like, my baby's 2 weeks old and I've been in the tub like 4 times a day.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm like, we're gonna have to.
Well, they give you you can do like a sitz bath or something, but that's like sitting in an inch of water. That's not worth it.
Look at me.
I have like my full
This is not
like,
doctor
bubbles
approved,
and
but
bath
it's not
bombs.
happening.
I like have my bath bombs and everything going.
Yeah.
Oh well.
I mean, I get why.
I'm all for it.
Maybe they did say that to me, and I just like resented it so bad it just left my memory immediately because I have never been told that.
So how was your experience with the third in the hospital and like, just from your first to your third, like what was the experience? Were you able to like enjoy it more? Or?
I've enjoyed, this is funny, we talk about this all the time, Dallin and I love the hospital. Like, a lot of people are so anxious to go home and everything.
I'm like, keep me there as long as I can.
Girl, thank you.
Those like 48 hours where I get to sit in a room.
Be waited on.
This is weird, I'm like getting emotional. And like stare at this person who just came out, and like all 3 of my epidurals have failed. So it's been a hard road every time, and like getting to that moment of holding them in a quiet hospital room in the middle of the night, like my husband's asleep. It's so like precious to me, that time. So with all 3 kids, it has been like heavenly. And I go home and I write about every second of the hospital because I just love it so much. I love it.
Well, and you have tiny kids at home, so it is your moment of just being with them.
It's like, I don't know. I'm like, I'd rather go there than like a rehab center.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I just want to sit there with my new baby.
Yes.
Forever.
Yeah.
And I get everyone's experiences are different because of
Yeah.
what happens in the hospital. But like, guys, like, I will have babies for people to go have. And you just said the word heavenly. That's how me and my husband explain it. I do feel like it's for me as a woman, it's probably been my most spiritual experiences I've had in the hospital. And I don't think it doesn't really even matter what religion you are. It's a very like spiritual time, like with that person.
Bring life there.
Yeah.
Like that is where you bring life into the world, and you do it. Like some other people are there supporting you, but you do it on your own. You just do it. And I just think there's something so empowering there. Like I just feel so empowered when I'm in the hospital. Like I just did this thing.
Yeah.
I think I said this to my husband each time. Han, like, I'm amazing. Like that was powerful. And
Did you see that? I know.
No, isn't it weird? Like,
It's
it
true.
is such an outer body experience that, like, after you do it, you're like, I mean,
I just
like,
did this.
yeah, like, I need,
just
like,
happened.
trophies, awards, like, people coming in. I don't know.
It's true, though.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's sad, and I am going to say this word, and people might not like it, but I did train my husband because he firmly believes whatever that woman wants in that moment, she is going to get, because he calls it the deep, dark voice. With my first baby, when I had my epidural, my water broke in the middle of the night. It was 4 a.m. and we get to the hospital. And so when your water breaks, you guys have probably had natural births. I haven't. But before they brought in my epidural, when the water's totally out of you and you're having contractions, it was like, I was crawling up walls.
Like, yeah.
I just explain it like a Charlie horse throughout your body. So it would happen, and this deep voice that I've never even heard it since would come out. Okay, and you know what? Too much information. But at one point, I don't have anything in me, and I'm telling my husband I need to go to the bathroom, and he's going, no, honey, the nurses said it's gonna feel like that, and I'm like, get me to the bathroom. These voices are coming out, and he said he's never been so scared. He's just like, takes me to the bathroom, and I was right. Like, I needed to go to the bathroom, and I just remember seeing his eye through the crack of the bathroom, like, I'm so scared.
She turned into Batman, just barely
and
like,
he's like, you would do the dark voice only for me.
I'm dying.
And then the
so
nurses
true.
would come in, and I'd be like, I'm doing great, guys. Yeah, thank you. And then I'd be like, get over here and rub my feet. Like, what? So he always says, like, with the other 3, he's like, I didn't want to hear the dark voice ever again. So I'm just like, yes, whatever you want.
So we are just going to do a few lightning round questions because this girl is so good at finding things at Walmart. That's
I
like
love Walmart. Wally World.
So
Hashtag.
tell us some of your favorite, like what have been your most favorite Walmart finds, just off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, 100% their accessories.
First of all, her earrings she's wearing right now are so cute.
$288 Walmart. Get over there.
Get over there.
Get over there. And then honestly, I love their basics. Like every kids section you go in, they 100% have like basics. And any mom out there, and this is what I always say, I'm like, it doesn't matter if you get a white shirt from Zara, Gap, Old Navy, it's all gonna get dirty.
Yeah.
So you better believe I'm going to Walmart to get $388 white shirts.
No
so like
kidding.
they have cute ones, boys, girls, and then I do love their shoes. guys, I love Walmart's like kids shoes.
They're stepping up their game too, I feel
They're
like.
stepping home slices. They're stepping up their game. Like cute little shoes like that. I'm like, no, these are like, I would buy these at Old Navy, and I love Old Navy too. But I'm like, and they're like $10 and under. So
I love that.
stuff like that.
That's so awesome. Advocate for Walmart.
I really am.
Get over there, moms.
Kaley, what is one of your biggest pet peeves?
Oh, dang it. Honestly, I know exactly what it is, and people won't like this answer. I really don't like two-faced people. It's like my biggest pet peeve when like, if you're loyal through and through. And if you're two different people, I think all my life I've really struggled with that. Like a friend, and then one moment I know she's talking behind my back. I'm like, not happening. So just like loyalty and loyal is a big thing for me.
Okay, so what is one beauty product that you can't live without?
I'm going to go straight for it, and I'm going to say my literally Shine Cosmetics. I love their lip gloss. If that's the only thing I could wear, it would be that. You'll love it too.
I need to try it.
I know, I do too. Okay, and last question. What is a TV show you love?
Daggone it, you guys. Are you saying one or like 50?
You can name a couple.
What are your shows right now?
Yeah.
What are your shows?
My shows. Oh, okay. So I have the shows by myself and the shows with my husband.
I love
We
this.
all have that.
Yeah.
So the like This Is Us and A Million Little Things.
Oh my gosh.
And then by myself
Yes.
that my husband's never going to watch with me is like Sister Wives. Because
I love Sister Wives.
I got to. But like my own by myself, if I could watch it every day, is probably, I'm going to say Grey's. I'm a Grey's Anatomy girl.
me
and I
too.
do feel like I'm qualified to be a doctor now.
Are you up to date on it?
pretty much.
Oh, I'm up to date. DeLuca and Me. Oh, yeah. You know DeLuca, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We don't even need to say anything else.
No, that's it. That's it.
I love that.
Where can our listeners find you online?
The only place I'm probably online and looking lately is on Instagram, and that's just under my name at Kaley Munday. So there's nothing fancy about it. Just my name, my life, and my kids.
So something that we do on each of our episodes is we just share super brutally honest from the week, one win for the week for that we had, like a motherhood win, and then like a motherhood fail.
Okay. A motherhood win maybe right now is with, and it's kind of like all combined, is just with my daughter Quinn, because I'm really trying to really embrace her, like letting her dress this how she wants to dress. And that sometimes is like, hard. Letting her do exactly what she wants to do, her hair, because I really want to create confidence in my children at a young age. And I believe like letting them be their own person with sometimes a little bit of the own nudge. And so the other day, and if you know my Quinn, she's so like, we always say she's going to dominate a man, like big time. So, and
She's
this is
so
kind of,
cute.
I don't know if this is a win, but so the other day I've let her choose, next Saturday is her birthday, her 4th. And she's chosen what the theme is. She's chosen everything, you guys, about this party. And I'm letting her. I'm like, this is all her. It's not going to, I don't need it to look Pinterest cute or whatever. And that's one thing, I'm just like, it's going to be her. So she wants it to be, it's a boy and girl party. That's what she's told me. And so now she's decided it's a wedding party. And and I'll have to show you guys, but she wants the topper of a bride and a groom, but the topper that she wanted specifically, and it's so my Quinn, is of the bride tied up the groom and is pulling him. And I'm like, that's Quinn. That's what you And I'm like, that's what's coming in the mail. That's what's going to be on. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just glad. And maybe that's the win I feel. I'm like, I'm just so happy I'm letting her choose this party, because
How fun is that,
I'm going to look
though?
back on her wedding and just cry because it's so hysterical, and then cry because I'm like, so she's going to be wearing a white dress. Like, who thinks of this?
Yeah.
It's her. So
I love that.
that's big. That's maybe the win, is just embracing my kids, letting them be them. Anyway.
That's funny.
And then a fail. I know a fail has to probably do with the babies lately and their poopy diapers. Oh my gosh. Because I'm like
like a
the other
diaper
day.
train.
Well, this is just like an example. What I mean by that is like the other day, I like, especially with I call them the twins sometimes, but the two babies.
I do too.
I'll lay them next to each other and change them. And this is while my husband was gone. So I lay them next and they always wake up. So I put them, they have a schedule the same, and that took a while. So when people say that, I'm like, no, that took a lot of work. Yeah. But I laid them, I woke them up. Both had really poopy diapers, and I laid them by each other. Oh, well, I turned to grab a wipe, and one of them has literally put the whole body, the whole foot, the whole everything in the other poopy diaper.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, what was I thinking? I told my friend, I'm like, why would I lay another baby next to a poopy diaper? Like, they're laying next to each other, and I open them, like, thinking nothing. Yeah, foot. So they both had to go in the tub. They were, covered. So
that's hilarious.
I didn't think, but.
Guinness for the tub again?
Yeah, tubs.
I know, right?
Somehow we're always there.
Our sponsor for this episode is Tub.
Yeah.
We love Tub.
I love that.
Okay, well, thanks, Kaley.
Thanks, you guys.
What a fun discussion. Oh man, we love Kaley. She is so fun. We hope that you laughed and cried with us and enjoyed that interview as much as we did. Mamas, we love you. We know that it's hard. We know that it's awesome. We know that it's everything in between. And we're here with you. We hope that you enjoyed this episode today. If you did, would you scroll down and do us a favor and leave us a quick review? It helps us to connect with more mamas like you. Also, feel free to come and join us on Instagram at the.mamahood or email us at themamahoodpodcast@gmail.com. And as always, just let us know what you think. We love you. We're so grateful for your friendship. We hope you're enjoying the podcast so far. This has been so fun for us, and we will talk to you soon.